Well, hello there, my beautiful souls. Welcome into another daily reading for us. As you can see, it's a bit of a rainy day here, and I just unfortunately can't read inside of the house where I'm living currently. So I brought my nightstand out, to be completely honest with you, my desk chair, my stand and whatnot, and my cards. And we are going to jump into the energies and see what the day is all about. Oh, and do you love my new sweatshirt that I got not too long ago, if I could speak? About the movie Halloween Town. 'Tis the season is what I just heard. Well, let's pull some cards. I'm being drawn to a lantern on the side of the back of the house here. And so it's giving me hermit card energy where, you may be feeling like staying within your own lane. It may just be inevitable for you, the only choice. But I just heard the word important. But there's a sense of you, feeling special, feeling important throughout this day, maybe being pushed to feel like more of a leader. And whether that's meant to be a feeling of you becoming more of a leader within your own life for yourself, for your own path. It could be for other people. But they're saying at the very, very least, this day pushes us each to be more of the leader for ourselves, okay? But let's pull a couple cards. We actually are not going to shuffle to the point of them jumping out, given that you can imagine the ground is quite wet. The Page of Swords and the King of Wands. So it's a day, maybe even surrounding it, where your confidence in your ability and your choosing to begin again in certain ways, or maybe get back to the basics, are quite important. They're relevant. And I feel you are being pushed to sit back in your throne. You can see how I'm kind of on the edge of my seat, leaning towards the camera. And it's showing some good energy in one way, shape, or form, but I feel the sitting back on your throne and getting comfortable where you are currently, maybe to make the best until the best for some of you. It's just important once again for you to sit back on your throne, create some amount of comfort. And I'm being drawn to the number one. It could be, spiritually representing something else for you, but I feel there's something about spirit saying you're number one, right? And part of the reasoning is because you're able to be the Page of Swords in a lot of ways, but also you are embodying this King of Wands energy. And so it ends up being a day where they're saying you're more than ever becoming a well-rounded master by being able to adapt, being able to, I'm hearing intertwine successfully. Interesting. But just tuning into the different sides of you, and it ends up being a day where the messages start to flow quite nicely, and it feels like you get to better understand what lies ahead. I see some of you wondering whether or not there's going to be a concrete decision in the very near future for a switch up, when it comes to a commitment or two, or maybe, you don't have a commitment of some sort, and now you are gaining clarity, messages of importance that pertain to that new situation that you're meant to acquire. Quite wordy, but you got the point. Whew, as the energy just shifted here. That may take a focus as well, energy shifting for the better and for the worse. And let's be real, energy can shift 1 second for the better, and then it can shift for the worse the next second, or from 1 minute to the next. And then they're kind of reminding you time is an illusion. We give it so much weight and importance and even power to the point where it can stress us out. It can control how our day proceeds. It can make us feel, one way or the other otherwise. And so they're saying, try to put time out of your side unless it's one of those messages that Spirit's coming through with. Say an angel number, maybe a feeling of importance, but it could even be the spiritual meaning of a number. But as you can hear the birds in the background, they're feeling significant for this reading as well, where, there's certain small moments where you could naturally let that get in the way of what you're doing in the moment, like I'm reading, here. Or it could be a moment where, you allow it to be a reminder of the small beauties in this world and how things are better than they once were, and they could be worse than they are currently. Anyway, sorry, as people were strolling by inside. But the Chariot card coming out because it feels to be a day where you're motivated, but it doesn't seem to be taking over 100%. There may be a nice rediscovering of the balance for some of you when it comes to motivation being utilized and being felt in that moment or two. as well as, balancing that out with moments of relaxation, rest, replenishment, or just maybe, moments where you do feel motivated, but, being honest with yourself, taking a moment and saying, I'm going to be true to the fact that I would more so need to in this current exact moment. I more so need to rest. It's not going to be most productive due to certain surrounding energies or factors otherwise to, utilize this motivation in this moment to my advantage. Does that make sense? Sorry, as the energies are kind of jumbling up the messages, but it's basically to say that sometimes your surrounding energies and factors may get in the way of you productively utilizing that motivation. So then it's kind of a smart choice, an intuitive choice to just rest instead of, buckling down and doing what you could have been doing. All right. But let's pull a couple more. The Four of Pentacles coming out, as well as the Page of Cups in reverse. There's something about this collective saving up their money, maybe even resources otherwise, for the sake of investing into a new fulfilling opportunity. I'm hearing a chance to begin again, where it may feel, a bit mysterious to you or just a bit further out. But for some, you can feel intuitively and otherwise that it's right around the corner. It's on the near horizon, but you're lacking, bits and pieces of clarity, that understanding of what it maybe looks like, is going to feel like, be like for you. And, okay, there's something about an announcement coming up for you, and it may be in regards to this turning in the upright, or you then gain the situation that you're meant to, or the new beginning otherwise, but it doesn't churn in the upright just yet, but you do update certain people about the shift that's going to come to be. But either way, it feels like this collective seems to be more strategic in regards to saving their money. Why is that? Maybe it's because you're just buckling down and wanting to really prioritize what matters the most to you moving forward. And for a lot of you, again, it includes turning this in the upright, getting something, brand new for you. But it may as well be that you have just, and maybe throughout this day as well, you're being pushed to reflect upon certain poor choices and investments otherwise when it comes to your money. But it may be more that you just kind of want to get ahead. I'm getting that specifically. And for some of you, it's about you noticing and appreciating the comfort that you have with where you're living or working or who you have in your life currently. But then, more when it comes to financial matters, you want to save your money for more comfort in the future, whether it's just to have that cushion. It could be for a rainy day. Look at the setting we have. But for a lot of you, it's about, having enough to say, I can rest on this day and not worry about, making money, or I could call out sick and not worry about having to make, ends meet, right? Or live, from paycheck to paycheck, or whatever the case may be. And I know we're getting a bit too much into the money portion of the reading, but it's going to pop up throughout this day, and you may as well find that certain animals, specifically sea creatures, are coming up throughout this day. I'm getting seahorses right now, but also then I heard butterflies, which obviously isn't a sea creature, but you get the point. I'm hearing mobile and immobile, all right? So again, there's a nice balance of moving and doing your thing. I also heard grooving, while balancing it out with immobility, just kind of maybe being still more so, letting your physical body, even your soul and your emotional side, maybe your mental status, rest and heal for what lies ahead. Because it feels like this could be a little bit of a busy day for you at certain points, but I see the upcoming days being busier, and so if you were to go throughout this day to such an extent to a burnout or feeling super drained the following day, you're going to regret it. You're going to feel like, well, I should have more energy, more resources to put forth towards what the upcoming busier times are going to entail. And so then they're saying, yeah, well, it's not just that, it's also the balance, once again, that's going to help you with the future moving forward in general. And you then get to say, well, this approach actually makes sense for me, while another king wants to show up in your reading to get ready to wrap it up, because there's an advanced nature about you, there's a maturity about you. You're making better choices than you once were, and that's going to take an epic focus. While you can't help but feel more knowledgeable all the meanwhile, for multiple reasons, They're wanting you to ask yourself strategically and intuitively, where am I going to put this knowledge? How am I going to utilize it? How am I going to apply it? Right? Because it's about improving your path moving forward and being, again, kind of coming full circle for this reading, being the leader that you know you need the most and your path needs the most moving forward, but also strategically in other ways being a leader for other people, more so secondary. All right. But let's wrap up our reading by saying this day is helping you rediscover balance, like we've been saying, but it's helping you in a lot of other important ways as well. You're going to feel comfortable moving forward more so. You're going to feel more strategic, more successful. And it's time for this collective to feel like things are more than ever going to head in the right direction. You deserve it, all right? So that is what I have for you. I hope it was truly helpful. I do look forward to our next daily read. Do take care, my friends.